Good morning. Welcome to the kitchen. This week is gonna be all about me learning how to can things. I'm actually waiting for a package right now that is a home canning book from the Ball Jar Company. And I've heard a lot of people recommend this book for like beginner canners. So yeah, I bought that. I figure, you know, obviously I'm gonna have to learn how to do this for the boat. Like, we're not gonna be able to keep a bunch of fresh produce. It's just gonna be easier to can things, right? So anyways, I went online this weekend and I've heard a ton of people talk about cowboy candy. So I made my own jar of cowboy candy and I canned it and everything. It's like sealed. Look at that. I can hold it by the top. Okay. I'm very, very proud of that. I'm also currently raw honey and garlic fermenting, which is going to be great. So yeah, anyways, I'm very excited about this week and learning how to can. So yeah, I will see you when we're canning our first thing. Okay, the book is here. The kitchen has been cleaned, except for I put out the things that I need for this. And the camera has been charged. So our first recipe that we are going to do, since I have bought everything because I knew I was going to do this first, is cranberry sauce. But the only thing that I'm not so sure about is which one I'm going to do. So there's the whole berry cranberry sauce. You know, it's fine, it's whatever. But I prefer the jellied cranberry sauce, like the heathen that I am. I don't know, I love the ones that come straight out of the can with the can molds. Love it, love it. I can appreciate the whole berry cranberry sauce, but man, I love the jellied stuff. The only thing, if I make the jellied one, is it's a little bit more, it seems like advanced because you have to like get it to set up and puree it, and I don't have a big food processor. I have a blender, and so I'm kind of scared, and the thought of wasting a bunch of food makes me want to cry. But at the same time, am I even going to enjoy if I make the whole berry cranberry sauce? Because like I said, while I like the whole berry, I will never eat a lot of it. But if somebody sets out the jellied stuff, I will gladly take the whole can. I love that stuff. I think I'm going to make the jellied. I'm going to try and make the jellied. I'm really hoping it turns out. Okay. So the first thing that we need to do is get 4.5 cups of cranberries. So like I said, these are in 8-ounce bags. So I'm going to do 4 of these plus half of this one. Great angle. You can see half of my face, but 2 cups of water, or 1 3/4 cups of water, and then 4.5 of these. So we are supposed to combine these medium-high heat until they start to gently boil. Let me show you what it kind of looks like, because there's not a lot of liquid. So yeah, I'm assuming these are obviously gonna like cook down a lot and create the liquid for themselves too. So now that I'm waiting, I'm going to be getting the canner that I'm using for this, and I'm going to put some water in it and put my canning jars in there to kind of get them hot and ready for this. Okay, so I'm supposed to bring the cranberries and the water to a boil, and then as soon as they start boiling, I am supposed to reduce it to a simmer until they start to like burst. The mixture is boiling now. So we are going to turn it down a little bit and then let it We're going to turn it down a little bit and then let it slowly simmer, or like gently boil. It says for 5 minutes until all the skins start to burst. But it already seems like they're starting to break. But I'm going to turn it down a bit and then we're going to let it go for 5 minutes. Okay, as you can see, they are all bursting. I'm so sorry about the angles. I'm still trying to figure out where and how and if there's any good angles in this freaking kitchen. So apologies. So now we are to take her off of the heat and let it rest for 5 minutes. We've got our a little bit cooled off cranberries here. It says to either put it in a food mill or a food processor, neither of which I have. So, I mean, I have like a super tiny food processor, but that's not gonna work for this. So I'm just gonna use my blender. Hopefully this does the job well. It says blend it until it's a smooth puree. I don't know if you can tell, but it is definitely a puree now. Okay, so I need 2 cups of granulated sugar, which I'm gonna precariously do over my oven. So there's 1. Honestly, I need bigger boxes. That's not the word I'm looking for. Bigger containers, there we go, for my sugar and flour and everything. Okay, 2 cups of sugar. And then I'm supposed to bring this to a boil as well. Over medium heat to a boil until the sugar dissolves. We are boiling, so I am going to turn it up to high and hard boil it until it is sheeting off of my spoon, which I'll try and show you what that means. The only thing is I don't want it to burn, so I don't want to do it up like, I only have my oven set to 5 right now, so. And that's kind of what I'm going to keep it at, because it sounds like it's trying to like stick or burn on the bottom, and that's not what we're looking for. Okay, so sheeting is apparently when you take a spoon and you do it like this. Can you see? You do it like this, and right now it's not, because you see the drops are still apart from each other. They're kind of coming together. I don't know if I'm... Okay, you see the drops kind of come together. That's good, but they're not all the way together, and they're not like all coming together when I'm... See, like this, I don't even know if you can tell, and I'm definitely not explaining it well, but it's not at the stage, and it's popping me and it hurts. Oh, we're so close. You can see it's all starting to move off of the spoon all at one time, and it's like glooping together. I'll be so happy if it turns out good. Okay, I think that's it. So we're gonna call that and take it off of the heat. We've got our hot cranberry sauce right here, and I've got my handy dandy canner thing, filler, you know, that. Here we go. All right, that is all of our sauces. All right, running our paper towel along this to make sure nothing is on here to disturb a seal. And then you want to feel around also just to make sure there's no nicks. Now we'll take our canning lids and pop those on. Just a finger tight. Ooh, hot. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put these into my canner that's already pretty hot. Hope you can see that. Hey, the color looks like cranberry sauce. It looks pretty good, so I'm pretty happy already. Now I just hope that it actually cans. The cans are done. Let's see if anything broke or popped or what. Okay, they both seem to have worked. So yeah, I'm going to let these sit now for a couple hours probably. And then I'm going to take I'm going to take the rings off and see if we have a seal. And then I'm probably going to take one off and then try it. So you can probably hear my dishwasher right now, so sorry. But anyways, it is the next day, and last night I got a little too excited when Colby got home, and we went ahead and opened one, and they did, let me show you this one. They did both seal. So I'm holding it by the can. They both popped down, so I'm gonna take this one to Thanksgiving with us, I think. I can't tell you how excited this makes me. I would love to be doing it with, you know, actual garden produce, but I live in a tiny little apartment, so can't have a whole garden. But I'm just really excited that I made canned two things. And well, I guess three, aside from this one because we opened it and started eating it. I have two canned products in my cupboard now that I made and that will last me until at least next year. That is so exciting. So yeah, have these, and then this is the one that we opened, and hopefully you can see that the texture, perfect. Let me just show you. I mean, it's jellied cranberry sauce. It's good. It's sweet, but not too sweet. I'm just so proud of this. Probably more proud than I probably should be, but it's exciting. I made this myself and canned it, and it was successful, and they didn't burst or not can and not do. This makes me very happy. Okay? Okay. Anyways, now that I've done this, which is just, like I said, way too exciting, I'm gonna move on to the next thing, which I will tell you about in just a second. Our next project is a bowl of meat scraps, mostly pork. I plan to make a stock or a broth. I have veggie scraps that I've been keeping for the last couple weeks. This we put in the freezer I think 2 weeks ago, so it's time to make the broth. I have enough veggie scraps, but what Colby said is he thinks this may mostly be fat, so it looks like it's just a mixture of meat and fat, so which is what I'd usually just throw it all in the broth, and there's some bones in there too, so yeah. Maybe, I think I'm just going to throw it all in a pot, but I need to see if I can get it loosened up a little bit. So the veggie scraps that I'm going to be using are, I have some red pepper, a bunch of onion butts, some garlic butts, some this one's mostly full of just garlic that wasn't the greatest, but that I can throw in stock for a little bit of flavor, and then I do have some fresh carrot. I also have this tiny bit of carrot left that I don't really have anything to do with this week, so I'm gonna toss these in there with it as well. Alright, so this is, I think, sufficiently, there we go. So yeah, I'm just pouring the whole thing into the pot, and then I'm just going to cover it with water. I'm not following any recipe. I don't know if there even really is a big recipe. I mean, I'm following this will be the first time I've ever canned broth, but I have definitely made broth a lot in the past. I'm going to turn it on pretty high heat to let it get up to a boil, and then once it starts boiling, I'll turn it down a little bit. and let it keep boiling, but like a gentle boil, so I can start skimming. If any crud comes off, if no crud comes off of it, then I'll just go ahead and add this, and then if I need to add more water, I will. I forgot to mention, since we did go ahead and open this one, we're probably not gonna eat this whole thing. This is a pint, before next week of Thanksgiving. So I actually found a recipe for leftover cranberry sauce, and it is skillet cranberry sauce scones, and they look amazing, so, and they sound amazing. So I'm gonna do this, and I may just throw that recipe in here, so if you happen to watch this and have leftover cranberry sauce from Thanksgiving, maybe you'll want to try this if they turn out good. I hope they do, because they sound, anything cooked in a skillet and scones with this, oh, I'm excited. Okay, I will start on the skillet scones, which are, I'll put a picture of it from Pinterest, but it looks so good. Cranberry sauce skillet scones. So what do we need for these? Let me go past all of the unnecessary bullshit that I do not care about. 2 1/4 cup of flour and 1/4, okay? Baking powder, 1 tablespoon. Okay, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of sugar. I feel like most of the sweetness will probably come from the cranberry sauce itself, because it is pretty sweet. I'm gonna whisk this together. I'm gonna make it a little easier on myself and go ahead and cut it into, I'm also gonna try my hardest not to touch it with my fingers, because that's going to heat the butter up, and it's not gonna get the consistency that we actually want it. Also doesn't help that it's kind of warm in my apartment. So now I'm just going to take my pastry cutter and just kind of cut this butter into the flour until it gets to like a wet sand kind of consistency. This dough now is pretty shaggy. It's like wet sand, kind of like thick breadcrumbs. It says to feed through the tube and continuously mix. Well, we're not using a, so I'm just going to do it like this. Okay, I think I put a little too much liquid into this, but we're gonna go with it. So now I need to do 3/4 cup of cranberry sauce. All right, and 3/4 cup of cranberry sauce. All right, and then it says to fold the cranberry sauce in to the dough. I feel like that's a lot of cranberry sauce to this. Did I only do 1 cup of all-purpose flour?
It was at this moment that she knew she fucked up.
I only did 1 1/4 cup, I think, instead of 2. I doubt I can save this now, but I don't really want to throw this away, so hopefully it won't fuck it up too much. Guess we'll see. This is real life kitchen fuck-ups. Was bound to happen to me, right? Now I'm just supposed to transfer it into the prepared skillet and cut it into 8 wedges. I'm so glad nobody else has to taste our food until Christmas time and I bring things to people's houses, but in that case I try and make sure it's like perfect. But I thought scones are supposed to be like actual dough. I mean, this is what it kind of looks like in the picture, so I don't know, what I'm saying is it's probably wrong. And it says to score it into 8 deep I don't know how you're really supposed to score something like this, but okay. It says bake for 35 minutes, so I guess let's do that. The broth is still attempting to boil, but you can see it is gonna do that scummy thing. So I'm gonna let this like do the full scummy thing, and then I'm just gonna dump it all and then refill this pot and then put everything in with it, and it shouldn't do that again. So I have refilled this with newish water, and now we're actually going to set it so it can boil. Now I'm gonna go ahead and throw my veggie scraps in here already too. And I double bag these when I put them in the freezer. I wish I had big gallon bags, but these are all I had right now, so that's why it's like this, but yeah. And then also these carrots. And I'm just gonna put everything down there. So you can see a lot of this is fat, but there is also a big bone and meat down there. So hopefully everything in here will just give it a nice good flavor. And I'm going to cover this and probably, I will probably let this go for the rest of the day. And then come throughout periodically and scrape it off if it has any scum on it. And yeah, so now I'm just waiting for the scones, if we can call them scones. Hopefully you can't hear the TV that well, but scones are out of the oven. They're looking a little brown, but I will tell you, I'll show you how they are when I can actually cut into them after they cool off. Here is what the scones look like out of the oven. Yeah, I feel like they're not really scones, but see how they taste. And I guess it does kind of taste like a scone or a biscuit. It just doesn't really, I mean, it's more like biscuit texture. It's really good though. I can actually taste the cranberry in it. Even though it took out all of the red color that was the cranberry. I imagine if I would have actually followed the recipe correctly, it would have been better. But here we are. This is boiling profusely now. So I'm gonna bring it down to really just a simmer. And let's see, it's like already 4:30, so this probably isn't gonna be done until like 10, maybe 11. Really just depends on when I like the color. So we'll see. I'll let you know when I'm gonna take it off. Okay, just canned the broth up. I'm gonna keep this for us, and then I just put 3 in the pressure canner, and we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna vent steam for 10 minutes, and then after that I'm gonna close the valve and then steam for another, or pressure can it for 20 to 25 minutes, I believe. 20 minutes. It is the next morning, and we have had our first failure. I haven't taken all of these off. I mean, I think they all sealed. That's not the problem. The problem is I didn't do something that you're definitely supposed to do. I did not take the fat. So this one actually may be okay because it doesn't have, I may actually just leave this one out for a test. But this one doesn't have the layer of fat. These two, however, these two definitely have, I think you can tell more in this one, definitely have a layer of fat, which, if you know anything about canning, is not good, which I did not know until last night. I am used to, sorry, my cutting board is dirty from this morning. I am used to just jarring these up however I usually make it, and then just putting this in the fridge, which I did make a bigger one and put in the fridge for both of us to use, but I was going to can these. Well, yeah, I should have looked and actually looked at what it says online and stuff, and it very clearly says do not do it with the fat in there. And I did. I did it with the fat in there. Yeah, since they have fat on top of them, they're not going to be able to be shelf stable like this, because apparently if it has too much fat on it, it could mess with the like lid during the can, or you know, while it's on the shelf. It can go bad. This is disappointing. I'm glad it was just scraps that were a little old that we made this with, and it wasn't something that I really messed up big, but I should have done research and actually saw that I'm supposed to skim the fat off. I should have let this whole batch completely cool down once I separated it out from, you know, the veggies and the bones and everything. Should have let it sit and cool down, and then I should have skimmed all the fat off the top of it, and then I should have canned it. But can't be mad or can't be sad for too long. We are gonna move on to our next recipe, which I need to go get groceries for. So that's what I'm gonna go do now, and we will come back with hopefully a really good, really sweet success for the next one. Okay?